Hey guys, my name is Sal, and this is another expedition log. On today's expedition, we're traveling out to Frackville, Pennsylvania, to the Schuylkill Mall. Now, the day that I was filming here, this was, I think, 1 or 2 days before the mall shuttered indefinitely. And, you know, there was no optimism here. Everyone knew that this mall was closing, and I do like to go into all of my projects with a sense of optimism, but this place was doomed. The entire region surrounding this mall, it was known for its coal mining and textiles, metal refining, a lot of meat and potatoes industry kind of stuff that held our country together. And unfortunately, a lot of these businesses, they saw their demise in the late 80s and 90s. And I do think that was a contributing factor in this mall falling under.
Check your feet for ticks afterwards. Ew, what is that? What is that? What's in there? It's dripping.
The Schuylkill Mall is better than ever. No matter what you're shopping for, you'll be sure to find it. With over 90 plus stores, including Kmart, Hess's and Bon-Ton, Farmore, and more. Just a short drive for your one-stop shopping trip. It's better than ever at the Schuylkill Mall.
The Schuylkill Mall, we're better than ever. We're better than ever for you.
The Schuylkill Mall opened on October 9th, 1980 by Crown American. The entire mall is 800,000 square feet, and again, the whole place is surrounded by coal mining towns, one of which is Centralia. And I will be visiting this in a later video, but Centralia is an old coal mining city that the coal mines underneath of the ground are on fire, and they've been on fire, and the entire town is abandoned. It's amazing. I mean, from a documentarian perspective. At its dedication in 1980, including the 3 original anchors, who were Kmart, Hess's, and Sears, plus a Weis supermarket and a McDonald's, which both of those were out parcel properties in the parking lot, and plus a drugstore named Wren and Derrick. Including these 6 storefronts, Crown American was only able to lease 79 of the 115 total spaces that occupy this mall. Excluding these businesses, only 73 of 100 were leased. That gives us a 63% occupancy at its grand opening. And things were not off to a good start for the Schuylkill Mall. In 1983, a fourth anchor was added when a Pomeroy's department store relocated from Pottsville's downtown area. And as a part of their incredibly rapid consolidation of buying up competition which would last nearly 3 decades, the Bon-Ton purchased 11 Pomeroy's from the Allied department stores in 1987, which pushed the Bon-Ton into 7 new Pennsylvania markets, including their shiny new location at the Schuylkill Mall. In 1991, the 5th anchor was added to the mall, which was a far more. This is a pharmacy. Now, in the summer of 1991, the Eagle Brothers shirt factory in Mahanoy City closed down 2 weeks before the 4th of July. This was along with the reorganization of the entire company, resulting in the loss of hundreds of jobs in the area. Mahanoy had about 5,700 residents at the time, and nearly everyone, and I mean everyone, they all had either a family member or some friend or a friend of a friend that worked for Eagle, the Eagle Brothers, making shirts and textiles. The avalanche of economic depression was one of the biggest setbacks for the region. Many people had to start their careers all over again, and I'm talking like people like 45 years old, 50 years old. They had to start over again, some of whom had to start over again at $4.25 an hour. Now, for most of them, they felt grateful once they hit that $7 or $8 mark, which is now, today in 2018, at least in Maryland, that's pretty close to minimum wage. This is just one example, but there's so many other companies that folded in the same conditions over the coming years as a result of outsourcing and technology causing redundancy. Now again, I'm always optimistic about dying malls. Older malls have an aesthetic language that is normally beautifully preserved within their hallowed halls, which is why I film them, to keep the memory alive. But for dead and abandoned malls, it's different. To not have a sense of nostalgia and sadness for something we can't see any longer. They'll be dead. We can't see these malls any longer once they're shuttered. In Brazilian, in the Brazilian language, there's a word that describes this. It's called saudade. This is a nostalgic feeling, or it's a melancholic longing for a person or a thing that is now or has always been absent. By 1993, the occupancy in the mall actually hit 72%, which was up 9% from the grand opening. In 1995, Crown American decided to take 23,000 square feet of vacant mall space and use it to expand the 92,500 square foot Sears into 115,500 square feet. This expansion brought the occupancy to 85%. In the same year, in 1995, Hess's closed its doors. And 3 years later, an outlet store called US Factory Outlets took its place. For the next 14 years, the Schuylkill Mall would see an incredibly erratic shift in storefronts. They gained Rex TV and Appliance in 1998. Shortly thereafter, US Factory Outlets closed and Black Diamond Antiques took its place. The Farmore went out of business in 2002, and Black Diamond Antiques moved to the space. Okay, so here's where things started getting interesting from a financial standpoint. In 2003, the entire Crown American portfolio was acquired by Priet, the Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust. Out of Priet's nearly $200 million investment, they paid $15.1 million for the Schuylkill Mall. At the time of purchase, the mall was only producing $196 per square foot. Now, Priet, they pride themselves on a $350 per square foot revenue stream for all of their malls, every single mall. This was at the bottom of the chain. The Schuylkill Mall was their lowest producer. So in 2007, 4 years later, overall sales dropped to $181 per square foot. So Priet, they sold them all. They sold it to the Empire Realty Investments Incorporated for $17.6 million. In 2007, Stephen Barry's clothing store, they opened up in the former Hess's, but they went out of business 2 years later in 2009. This building sat vacant for a year until a discount clothing store named Famous Labels took over the space. This store, they closed a year later in 2011. And in 2012, Dunham Sports moved into the old Farmore building. They pushed out Black Diamond Antiques, which had to move back to their former Hess building. Now, there was a bit of drama that ensued. There was an epidemic of bath salts being used in 2012, and the Schuylkill Mall, they got caught up in the drama. So a few $100,000 worth of products, and I'm talking paraphernalia, I'm talking drugs, bath salts, a couple $100,000 worth of this stuff was actually recovered at the Nirvana's Closet and Dragon's Chasers Emporium, which was located in the mall. There was a huge drug bust, and it wasn't just this location. There were a few around the area, in Reading, and it was actually a pretty big bust. But Schuylkill got caught up in it. Now, this is so sad. This family, oh my God. This is Sulia's Pizzeria. And if you remember back to the beginning, I had filmed some truck, and they were actually moving out. Now they were in the mall for years, and they were moving all their equipment out. Luckily, they did move to another location, and they are still in business, but they did have to leave the Schuylkill Mall. In October 2016, there was a petition for bankruptcy filed by Empire Schuylkill LP, and this showed total liabilities for the mall in the amount of $30.4 million. In March 2017, sale of the mall was completed through a sheriff's auction to the North Point Development LLC of Riverside, Missouri. The winning bid was for $2.1 million. 3 months later, all stores were given 90 days to vacate. The mall is now shuttered, and it's scheduled for demolition in 2018 to build 2 industrial buildings, most likely for Amazon. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video, and if there's something that you liked, please subscribe and set your notifications because I have a ton more content coming. If there's something you didn't like, let me know, and I'll do my best next time to try and make it better. Thanks everybody, take care.